Hello everyone! Good day! My name is Harlan Luder and welcome to the video presentation of our Group 9. And in this video, we will talk the Chapter 10, Noli Me Tangere Continuing Relevance. So first, let's understand what is continuing relevance. Ato sa ning sabton. So continuing relevance simply refers to the ongoing significance or importance of the knowledge. So it suggests na bisan pa og daghan na kay changes, advancements atong society or daghan na kay mga na-publish na writings, mga poems, novel, still na siya place, still applicable and meaningful siya, and still na siya value during karon na mga season or during these present times. As we talk more about this chapter, no limit ang here, continuing relevance, mas makasabot pa ta nganong mao ni siya ang title ani nga chapter. So, let's go. For our learning outcomes, at the end of this chapter, we will be able to first describe the context of the publication of the Noli Me Tangere, and second, discuss the major elements of the Noli Me Tangere as a novel. The publication of Noli Me Tangere. Noli Me Tangere is a novel written by the Filipino nationalist and revolutionary Jose Rizal, first published in 1887 in Berlin. The title in Latin means Touch Me Not. Many appreciate the Nole for its narrative that takes the readers through the eyes of its characters on a journey of love and deception, struggles and triumphs, and in the process presents pressing questions about power and social inequalities. So, Noli Me Tangere is a landmark piece of literature with Rizal named as the father of Filipino novel by scholar Rizal Mujares. We all know that the novel, published in 1887, revolves around the societal issues in the Philippines under the Spanish colonial rule. So karon, ang ato sang hinahinayon pagsabot ngano ang Noli Me Tangere considered man as a landmark piece of literature. Na ngano man kahasad na sa Rizal kay giname siya og father of Filipino novel. Then sa kadaghan og nag-name og naghatag og title ni Rizal, ngano mas gi-quote man ang giname ni Rizal Mujares. Kinsa man sad ni si Rizal Mujares? So, Noli Me Tangere is considered a landmark piece of literature sa daghan kay mga reason. But ang pinakauna nga mo-pop up sa atong mind nganong considered ni siya landmark piece of literature, it is because ang Noli Me Tangere ang unang novel nga gi-publish ni Jose Rizal na nakapa-shed light or nakapa-open up sa mga eyes sa mga Filipino people. But usasad sa mga reason nganong landmark piece of literature ang Nole, this because kani ang usa sa pinakauna nga novel written by a Filipino author nga girelease during sa Spanish colonial rule. Ang first ana kay ang Ninay, which is written by Pedro Paterno, published on 1885. Kani dai si Pedro Paterno, usa pud ni siya ka ilustrados. Kibaw naman tanong ang sang ilustrados, we will not talk more about that since nagbalik-balik na sa talk during ani sa previous reports. So, muna na ni-follow na ang Noli Me Tangere written by Jose Rizal na published on 1887. So, muna siya na, usa siya sa reason na landmark piece of literature because it is one of the earliest novel written by Filipino author during the Spanish colonial rule. Rizal is named or held as the father of Filipino novel, primarily due to his groundbreaking novels, The Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. However, there are still daghan kay mga reason. So I have found three reasons behind the title. So first is his pioneering influence that shed light on the struggles of Filipino people during Spanish colonial rule, followed by the cultural legacy na until now Filipino people or students kay nag-study gihapon sa life, works, writings of Jose Rizal tungod sa Rizal Law, which is the RA 1425, no? And then third kay ang global recognition. And evident na siya kay tungod there are a lot of translations ang na-release, a lot of translations. Third is the global recognition. It is evident since ang iyang mga novels, iyang mga works is translated into various languages and analyzed or studied by scholars worldwide. So a lot of, let me say, scholars or a lot of people name or give title to si Rizal, but ang kang Rizal B. Mujares ang one of the quoted one. Kani man gud si Rizal B. Mujares kay usa ni siya sa great name of the Philippine literature because he is a Filipino historian and a critic. So he is also named as the Visayan Titan of Letters. And di siya mabasta-basta because he holds a bachelor's degree in English, a master's degree in literature, a PhD in literature from the University of Philippines, Diliman. So, daghan na kayo sila na-accomplish while kita ka naglisod pa taog proceed to second year. So, that's it. By the way, one of the reason why Rizal is named by critics, scholars, a lot of people named him because during his times kay sikat man gud ni si Rizal. We all know that sikat gyud kay ni si Rizal, and usa man gud sa basihan sa unang panahon para mo sikat ka kay syempre sa imong academics and also sa imong family background. Dili na siya pareha karon na mga days na if gwapo ka or kanang indot kag lawas or gwapa ka kay musikat ka, but no, lahi ra kaayo og standard ang sa unang nga panahon ug sa karon na panahon. I guess mas prefer ko sa unang panahon. Tangere generated varied reactions from readers including praise, ridicule, and debate. Same way if naay mo sikat karon na days na daghan kayo mga social media influencers or a lot of people na mag-release og ilahang comment, mag-express sa ilang mga feedbacks o point of view ana nga particular topic, mo say nahitabo sa Noli Me Tangere. Since kani Noli Me Tangere kay ni sikat man, and if naarabay mo sikat kay mas daghan ang mga people ang mas maingganyo or ma-encourage bitaw. So, mauto, na mas, kung sikat siya, mas nisikat pag yun siya, and nakakot ni siya sa attention sa mga Spanish. Fray Salvador Font, who is the chair of the censorship commission, and iya gipa-stop ang circulation sa novel due to its critical portrayal of the Spanish rule. Ang kaning censorship commission kay body or a group of people nga ilang trabaho kay mag-review sa mga content, sa book, films, or other forms of media. And usa sa ilang job ang mo-prevent sa pag-disseminate sa material if naay mga inappropriate, offensive, or harmful siya sa mga ng readers or audience. And na sila'y authority to modify or restrict the publication of such a content. So, Fray Salvador Font, okay, na siya power para i-prevent or i-stop ang distribution or even ang reading sa Noli Me Tangere. And this happened the same year the Noli was published, which is 1887. Nang paspas kayo ang pagpa-stop niya because paspas na sad kayo ang pag-spread sa novel, daghan na kayo readers, mga various reactions, and mo na siya naka-trigger sa mga Spanish. We all know that the Catholic Church ang mas dakog power during those times, nag-lead sa mga regular clergy na ipastop ang reading sa Noli Me Tangere because ang novel kay once mo read kuno ka sa novel, makakommit daw ka og capital sin, makaless siya sa imong faith. And when we say capital sin, nag-refer na siya sa sin which is equivalent sa murder, adultery, o blasphemy. So, inana ka bugat ang paratang bitaw if, or inana ka bugat ang sala na imong makumit if mubasa ka ani nga na novel. And if dili ra ba ka mo sunod aning Catholic Church or sa Catholic, kay consider ka as ng someone who rebel. So, one of the critic na nag-release of negative feedback kay kanisa Spanish academic Vicente Barrientos. And nag-write siya mga articles ridiculing Rizal as a man of contradictions. I praise dito na nag-refer sa perspective ni Barrientos as a novel ni Rizal. Nagsulti nga na the novel is just reflective of the author and telling more about the Filipinos. Na nagpasabot nga na ang novel ko ni Rizal kay just one-sided na just one-sided, mas pabor sa side sa Filipino people, focusing sa pagdaot sa mga Spanish. And same thought, if naka-watch mo sa movie, katong time nga na si Dapitan si Rizal and naa siya lawyer. Ang name sa lawyer kay si Lieutenant Luis Travial de Andrade. And I can't, di na ko siya masulti word per word but the idea lang. Yan na si Lieutenant Luis Travial de Andrade and Rizal nga ang iyaha daw novel ng specific man to sa alfilibusterismo or alfili kay just one-sided. Nag-focus ra ko no sa negative side, nag-focus lang sa Filipino side, one-sided ra iyang gibuhat na novel. And Rizal answered in a sarcastic way. Ana sa Rizal nga, mag-release sad sila ilahang kagalingong book na nag-focus sa ilahang side. And the idea of or the perspective of Luis Traviel and Barrientos kay same sila ba nga ang mga writings ni Rizal is just one-sided. For me lang, as a student studying this topic or this report, for me, one of the reason why they said nga one-sided ang mga novels ni Rizal or nag-focus lang sa dark side na nakadaos sa mga Spanish is that there are 5 good benefits nga nakuha nato gikan sa mga Spanish. And first, kay ang Christianity, education, infrastructure, legal system, and cultural exchange. And there are good benefits sad na ato nakuha gikan sa Spanish. But ang na-written ra dito ni Rizal kay which is ang mga negative sad na nabuhat sa mga Spanish, setting aside the good benefits. So let's move on. Kay marag negative na kahit na side. So if na yung mga let's say anti-Noli Tangere or anti-Rizal, syempre nasa siya yung mga supporters. And si Rizal nakagain siya og support from his colleagues sa propaganda movement, especially ni Marcelo H. Del Pilar and his friend Ferdinand Blumentritt. If you guys noticed or naka-remember mo, kani si Ferdinand Blumentritt kay di na ni siya bag-o na name because na-mention na ni siya sa mga previous reports and kani si Ferdinand Blumentritt kay friend ni Rizal during his stay sa Germany, katong first trip niya sa Europe. And then Rizal also wrote a letter to Blumentritt during his stay sa Dapitan. Katong time nga na siya sa dapitan and then nag-send siya letter ni Blumentritt yang gi-explain yung daily life and then something like nga na to siya na nag 5 a.m. ko no kay mamata siya sayo and then maato siya siyang field pakaon siya siyang mga manok or siyang mga hayop and then 7:30 kay mag-breakfast na siya marag ina ang letter if naka-remember mo. Blumentritt is a close friend ni Rizal, so there is no question nga no ni support siya ni sa novel ni Rizal. He is one of the supporters. And Marcelo H. Del Pilar is one of Rizal's colleagues sa propaganda movement, which na-mention na ni na movement during sa previous mga reports. And ang famous na notable essay nga gisuwat ani ni Marcelo H. Del Pilar as a respond positive ha na critic sa Noli Tangere kay ang kaigat kayo, which means beware, which defend Rizal and his novel against the attacks and criticism it faced. So Del Pilar's essays were published in various newspapers and publication during those times.
So good day everyone, I'm Efren Gonzagamio. I'm one of the reporter of chapter 10. So now, after sa publication of No Limitang Here, daghay mga ni-attempt pag-translate at to sa original version. One of that is the Blumentritt, the German translations, and also ang isuon ni Jose Rizal ng Espasiano, which is ang Tagalog translation. But that two translator is wala sila na successful sa ilang plano sa pag-translate sa No Limitang Here. Why? Because they have a several reason nga nga, mga possible reason nga nga wala sila na successful sa ilang plano. First of that is lack of resources. The second one is language proficiency. Third, third is technical challenges, and also the fourth one is other commitments, and the last one is lack of support. After 13 years from publication of Noli, there was early translation nga nigawas, which means ang French translations from the University of Wisconsin-Madison houses. This French translation nga gihimo nila ni Henry Lucas ug ni Ramon Simpao under the title O Paydim One, which means in English is in the land of monks. But after that, pag 1912, naay nigawas ng translation by Charles Derbyshire, the English translation, entitled The Social Cancer. After sa publication sa French translation, pag 1912, naay nigawas nga lain na sad nga translation, which is ang English translation by Charles Derbyshire. Ang Charles Derbyshire nga translation mo ni pop up kontra sa French nga translation, because sa una is gisakop man ta sa Spanish sa mga Spaniard, wala ta nag-study of French. The family of Principalia and Illustrados, I think na sila is nag-eskwela sila English language, so nakabasa sila sa mga kanang sa English translation by Charles Derbyshire. Translation ng gawas. One of that is ang English translation, French, Japanese, and many more. And also the Philippine translation is Cebuano, Tagalog, Iloco, and Bicolano. Gamay ray Pilipino sa unang nakabasa sa Spanish version nga Noli me Tangere, because sa una is ang mga dili tanan Pilipino sa una is educated. Naiuban nga non-educated because of financial nga wala sila kwarta para maka-eskwela. That is why nga wala sila hibaw dayon what is unsay sud sa novel ni and then about ni Benedict Anderson, siya may usa sa mga nag-inspect sa tanan sa mga translations and versions of Jose Rizal's novels.
So today, I will discuss about Noli me Tangere and the study of a colonial society. Rizal's Noli provides a socio-scientific view of 19th century Philippines. Because due to his significant contributions in articulating and examining the social conditions of the Philippines during the Spanish colonial period. His writings, which include the novels Noli me Tangere and Il Fili, provided a critical examinations of the Spanish colonial system and its abuses. These works not only focused on Philippines issues but also on border subjects such as human rights, social justice, and equality. Syed Farid Alatas describes Rizal as the first systematic social thinker in Southeast Asia. So who is Syed Farid Alatas? Syed Farid Alatas is a renowned Malaysian sociologist and an associate professor of sociology of the National University of Singapore. He is known for his significant contributions to the discussions about decolonizing knowledge. He has also continued the legacy of his esteemed father, Said Hussein Alatas, by furthering the school of autonomous knowledge in the Malay archipelago and beyond. Rizal talked about the problems and unfairness in society. He showed how the people in power, like the Spanish rules and the church, were not always fair or just. What makes Rizal special is that he didn't just describe what he saw. He also tried to understand and explain why these problems existed and how they could be solved. This way of thinking about society and its problems makes him one of the first social thinkers in Southeast Asia. What is social thinker? Social thinker is someone who tries to understand how society works and how to make it better. And that's exactly what Rizal did through his book. Noli contributes significantly to understanding colonial society and the Spanish Empire's operation in the Philippines. Noli is interpreted by many as Rizal's analysis of problems of the colonial society, assessing the rules of the church, state, and people. In Noli Me Tangere, Rizal showed us what life was like for different types of people in the Philippines during the 18th. He talked about the problems in society and tried to understand why these problems existed. He looked at how the church, the Spanish rules, and even the Filipinos themselves played a part in these problems. Rizal emphasized the importance of education as a powerful tool to achieve progress. He also highlighted the challenges and constraints of the colonial condition, impacting both foreign and misguided Filipino. Rizal underscored Filipinos' positive qualities as key to their fight for freedom. So, Rizal believed that education was the key to making the Philippines a better place. But he also knew that it wasn't that simple. The colonial rule made things complicated and created many obstacles. It wasn't just Spanish rules who were the problem, but also some Filipinos who were not doing the right things. But Rizal also believed in the good qualities of the Filipinos. He thought that if these qualities could be nurtured and used in the right way, the Filipinos could free themselves from the Spanish rule and making their country better. So Rizal is recognized for his advocacy of human rights, particularly women's rights in the Philippine colonial society. So in overall, Rizal critiqued the colonial knowledge of the Philippines, challenging the Spanish colonial government's depiction of the Filipinos and their history. Second, he theorized about the nature and conditions of Filipino colonial society, explaining how Spanish colonialism led to the country's lack of progress and backwardness. Lastly, he discussed the meaning of and requirements for emancipation, advocating for the liberation of Filipinos from colonial rule. Rizal's writings were considered as the basis for sociological theories and concepts, and his ideas were influential in the Philippine Revolution against Spanish colonial rule. His works also highlighted the Filipinos' capabilities, achievements, aspirations, and moral rights, contributing to the promotion of a genuine propaganda campaign that provide information about the Philippines and its people.
That's all. Thank you.